Hey, Roadrunners, welcome back. It's Lit Medallion. I don't know if you can tell or not. My voice is killing me. What a game. What a game. What a game. You know, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this. I definitely didn't think we could score 48 points on Tulane. You couldn't have got me to take that bet. Not, no how, no way, right? But UTSA did. And what was amazing about this game, every time it looked like something was taken away from UTSA, but 2 touchdowns, got on the next play. Interception, got it back 2 plays later. Maybe even the next play. My mind's a little fuzzy on that one. It was an amazing performance. Let's dive into this performance. To me, that was the offense we've needed to look like all season long. We stayed away from the wide passes per se, the bubble screens and stuff like that. We did it one time, went backwards, right? But that doesn't mean we couldn't throw the swing pass or I'm just going to call it the jet sweep pass, where they come running by, McCown gets the ball, looking like he's looking downfield. Next thing you know, he runs that way and he just dumps it off to a guy full speed. They turn it up and they get 7 yards. We hit our tight ends. Owen was just lights out. I'm going to give him credit. 31 of 33. 31 of 33 for 370 yards and 4 TDs. Maybe he was hurt. Heard that I got a text. He's finally healthy. Been hurt the past 6 weeks. I'll save that critique for another night. Maybe later on this week. But what really impressed me, and you heard my analysis of what we had to do defensively on the last live stream, right? What did I say we needed to do? We had to have our front 5 collapse that pocket smartly. I said that. If we get to the front, if it turns into needing front 6, we might be in trouble. We might actually be in trouble. But we weren't. For the most part, don't get me wrong, we brought 6. Excuse me. I got to have my Victory Modelo. Oh, that's good beer. We brought our front 6 a couple times, but we really, really confused their offense. Their offense is at QB. And once he was shut down, once we confused him passing the ball, there are times he threw the ball just straight at us. And we made him pay for it. We probably, if the players were spying the backfield, right, versus trying to get to the men they're supposed to cover, we probably have 3 more interceptions. This was a great. I know they scored 26 points, but this was a great defensive performance. Because when you look at it, you take 2 of their drives, 2 of their touchdowns, and you look at how many penalty yards the team gave them. Their first drive to start the game was nothing. We didn't do anything. They just got the ball and went down the field. Their drive in the first half with the ball. But those other 2 drives, we gave them yardage and lots of it. Way too much. Way too many yards. And that's how Tulane got 26 points. Well, we only punted 3 times. That 59-yard punt was pretty nice. We only punted 3 times. Look at team stats. We had 523 total yards, but I'm going to go down here to the penalties. And these were all pretty much 116 yards of penalties. 10 penalties. And some of them offset, right? That is just insane. That was just insane how many penalties we gave. And those were all on the same drive. Same 2 drives. At least 70 yards on them. 60 probably. No, probably 70. If you look, had someone say we're not getting any pressure, so no wonder they can get that deep ball behind us. Toss to the halfback and then him a halfback pass. That was improperly played by the DB. He needed to just turn and run and chase the deepest guy, but I think he was caught in no man's land between the 2 players because there was another Tulane player there. And if he just runs and gets back there, that ball falls incomplete. 36 minutes of game time. I am going to tell you, the only time I yelled about game clock was when we called that timeout. But let me tell you something. They came in with that fourth down conversion, right before doing that 4th down conversion. Boom. Ball game, right? Ball game. Ball game, ball game. That sealed the deal. That ended the game. Signed, sealed, and delivered the victory to us. I was impressed with this team. This team played like everybody else who saw a 10-2 team played like. And good for the Roadrunners. Good for the Roadrunners. Good for our boys, right? So I'm not going to stay on here much longer. But I was talking, and I said the 2 position groups, right? The 2 position groups that have either played good or excelled, but nothing worse than that throughout these 8 games, has been our offensive line and our front 5. Yeah, hey, even against North Texas, they played good. They didn't play great, but they played good. We just didn't do anything offensively to stem the tide against the onslaught that North Texas put on us, right? I mean, after all, only scored 17 points. What was really cool, and I want to end this here, I must give a big shout out to a former assistant AD, Taylor Atkins. He was with our team with our program, working for Lynn Hickey, and then stayed on with AD Lisa, and then he moved into the engineering thing, and then ultimately his wife got a job back in wherever JMU is, right? James Madison, because that's where he's from. And now he's got a little blog called JMU Sound Off. And in all full disclosure of the FCS teams, I was always for whatever reason, a JMU fan. No lie. I was a JMU fan. And knowing that he worked there and whatnot. Now he has the JMU Sound Off. It gave me a little connection. He sends me a picture, and he's on Twitter, the Duke of Bodetort. I think it's the Duke of Bodetort. Botetourt, right? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just say Botetourt. And he's put a picture on Twitter of him in his Roadrunner gear watching the game. He's got a Roadrunner flag. You know, and there's something to be said because when you get to know a lot of the people at UTSA, a lot of the fans, they're a lot of fun fans, right? And I think JMU's that way too. JMU reminds me of probably the FCS version of Nebraska in terms of how their fans are, or the non-Mormon BYU, right? You look and they're always there. Their stadium is packed, right? But the funniest thing he says when he writes there using JMU sound off, a little known fact people probably don't know because it's definitely not mentioned on the show every week. That's a little they say it's definitely not mentioned, but let me tell you something. I comment on there with my lip medallion YouTube handle whenever they do it. It's and I'll write something funny. I'll write stuff. I wonder if Taylor thinks about us here at UTSA as much as some of us at UTSA think about him. So it was a nice little shout out from him. So I'm giving him a shout out right now. But when our game was over, back to our game, none of our. I said I'd look. I did. When we were down there close to scoring, our full defensive team was down on that end of the field, right? When our defensive team was close in those sections, our offensive team was there. I hadn't noticed it all that much this year. Not like this. There's a time when, they always see like 8 guys, stuff like that. But I'm talking, it felt like the entire bench of the offensive side of the ball was down there. It was a mass of humans, right? And when we were on the opposite side of the field, that would be the south. I'm near the north end zone. That would be the south end zone. I noticed our bench, because I see the defensive side of the play, was kind of empty. Not completely empty, but a lot of the players were down there. And I said I hadn't noticed that before, and I actually looked for it tonight, and I saw it. And players do something, and let me tell you something. I think that matters. I think that matters because I felt like everybody was in the game. Everybody was locked in, right? Maybe they wanted to remove the sting of North Texas, but if they can get this kind of game out of themselves next Thursday, they could turn this into a semi-special season. Knowing kind of how it started, knowing the doldrums, and then turn it around. They can make this a semi-special season. This team, if it figures out what it's doing wrong on the road, could easily be 7-5. Could easily be 8-4. Easily. And I think that they owe it to themselves to see what they can be. And I'm going to say it. The guy we've got to keep is Coach Haynes and our offensive line coach. Our offensive line coach. We got to keep him too. Whoever's doing it now, he's got that figured out. We're going to have to replace Robert Henry next year. We know that. But let's just get through this season. Let's see how special this season can be. I'm going to finish with this. I was standing there, right? And I was just reveling in the game, right? No hatred towards Tulane. The refs got my hatred. There were some calls. I was like, what? Well, anyway, That's past due, right? And I just said, I just started, I just, something made me say at the top of my lungs, yelling towards them, this is who you can be, defense. This is who you can be. Keep showing everyone who you can be. South Florida doesn't want to see you. South Florida wants nothing to do with you. And one of the players turned around and kind of gave a smile. And I hope it resonated with him. Who knows, right? Maybe he's just laughing at some old man, getting all excited about a bunch of college kids playing football, right? But I'm here to tell you that this defense, for it to shut down Tulane the way it did, they were never in the game. They were never in the game. Now, we've had enough hurts, right? I had to tell someone, they go, well, that's ball game. We're going to win this game. I said, man, the third quarter just started. Come on, man, don't do that. Wait till the fourth quarter. But if David Amador stays as electric as he was playing last year and as electric as he's played tonight, now we're cooking with fire. Because the way that offensive play calling happened tonight, and gotta give the play caller his flowers, give him 24 roses. That was incredible. That was incredible. Because then all of a sudden the tight end leaks out, gets himself 7 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards. Right? Let's look at what Amador had. Real quick. David Amador, 10 for 113. Robert Henry, 16 for 87. 5 yards a carry. Will Henderson, 12 for 52. Sure looked like he got a lot more yards than 52 yards. We only rushed for 132 yards. Well, I sure feel like we put more yards up there. But we did a lot through the passing. But Amador, 10 for 113. Devin McEwen, 8 for 96. You couldn't have got me. You couldn't have made me believe that Devin McEwen caught that many passes for that many yards. But Overmeyer and Dishman, man, they were deadly. Between them, 7 catches for 113 yards. Man, wow. Thomas caught him one. It was a really, really, really great offensive game. Now, Shad got himself a sack, and that was it. We had 1 sack, but we collapsed the pocket properly, and that's where those interceptions started happening. That's where they started happening, because guess what? They had nothing. We had the QB confused. He looked like he was just a first-year starter. He looked like a first-year starter. His stats, oof. 14 of 28 for 194 yards, 1 TD, and 2 INTs. Oof. The backup, 6 of 7 for 63 yards, 1 TD, 1 INT. Oof. I said we've got to contain their QB. Their QB had 250 yards of total offense. But that ain't enough. He got that one carry to start the game. And I was like, oh my goodness. No, don't. And then, never again. Now, he snuck him some yardage, don't get me wrong. But that, never again. They stayed disciplined. Anyway, peace out, Roadrunners. Birds up. Let's enjoy this, and then let's see what we can do next Thursday. Boo!